Number 5, UNIT. Huge gap down. I think a lot of people got caught short on the wrong side of this play. As soon as this opening candle engulfed the 2-minute chart, the 5-minute and the 15-minute pre-market candles, the squeeze was really started taking shape. So a good entry here is around 11:20, 11:30. As soon as it breaks up above that high, stop down here, whole number, moving averages and VWAP also down there as support. So as soon as we kind of make this flag formation off the 1, off we go, and it's a huge squeeze in percentage terms. We're talking 15% or so, right? $1.50 on a $11 stock. It couldn't make a new high here, kind of gave a shooting star on the 5 as well as the 2. And I think a lot of people started taking profits here and waiting to see what's going to happen next, right? So on the 15, you can see a bull flag starting to form. On the 1-minute chart, it's catching support at the VWAP here. It's getting bought up and being held up. On the 2-minute chart, it's starting to make new highs, right? Watch this. Watch what happens when the new 5-minute high is made. The volume really starts coming in, I think, right? Because this is a very typical pattern that people are looking for. A cup and handle or a high of the day breakout, ABCD, whatever you want to call it. As soon as it pops up here and it clears the 1250 levels, when the volume really starts coming in, we go for the second run. And this second run is good to take us up to 13 and change. Carlos actually took this trade. You can watch the recap earlier in the week here. It's a really good continuation play. I think there's a level on the daily chart there. It hit 1320, 1330, kind of came back down, and the move ran out of gas, and it ended up fading for the rest of the day. Next trade, VIPS. So this thing sold off pretty heavily, minus 15, 20% or so. Good opening range breakdown on the 2 and the 5. It caught support at the $6 whole number here. Watch this double bottom being formed. $6 bounce, comes back, tests it again, and then the squeeze up to VWAP, right? Comes out as a shooting star. So as you can see on the 5-minute chart, it made a new high. Good VWAP reversal, right? Off a double bottom, new 5-minute high. And this is what I was watching, this new 15-minute high. I saw this, I said, okay, I think the trend's changing. People might try to be shorting it here, right? Off perceived weakness, off this fake doji. Watch what happens when this new 5-minute high is made. When the new 5-minute high is made, off this flag type formation, and the moving averages have crossed. So in my mind, that's a trend change. We're now going to be heading up. Anyone caught on the wrong side is going to get squeezed. And when the volume starts picking up here, we're going to see 2 legs go off. So this candle here has pretty good volume. Watch this volume come in here. Now it's really picking up, right? Boom, people are starting to watch it again because they thought the move was done. But off we go, right? So a little consolidation pullback. Now we're pumping, and it rejects the moving average here. I believe this is 200 on the 1-minute chart when it kind of keels over and heads back to VWAP. So really good squeeze play right there at the VWAP. Next play, GRMN, Garmin. So this opening candle is a little bit too big for my liking for a 2-minute opening range breakup. But as you can see, it pumped up, came back down, got bought up by the support traders, right? VWAP, strong support, huge gap up 9%. Watch what happens here off this little flag formation, right? So you got a little type of flag formation, similar type of deal here, being bought up at the support, which is something you want to see for strength. Watch what happens when the 5-minute orb starts taking shape. Boom, huge influx of volume, right? Look at this volume coming. It's already coming in to engulf the previous candle, and off we go. Now this trade's a really good example of a trend trade. People often ask me, how do you find an entry for a trend trade? Because in retrospect, it looks really easy, right? You know, find a stock, watch it run $5, close out at the end of the day. It's not that easy in real life. What are some things you can look for? Well, number 1, it's respecting the moving averages. See this? It's respecting the moving averages. Not only that, but the moving averages are sloping northeast, right? There's a high slope for it. And on the 5-minute chart, it can never make a new low. Why is that important? Well, for a lot of trend traders, when things start making new lows on the 5-minute chart is when they start bailing out or scaling out. So as long as this holds this upward trend line here, people aren't going to bail, and there's people waiting to buy up the supports, right? Here it makes a new 5-minute low, but look at the fake out. It's so strong that it got bought back up pretty quickly, right? So sometimes you got to give things time to work out. Count to 5 before you exit the trade. And this is an example of what to look for so you don't leave money on the table in the middle of a trade. Number 2, UNIT, our old friend. So what happens here on the 2-minute chart? Well, on the 2-minute chart, you get a pretty small opening candle, right? So about 15 cents. It's a shooting star. Look what happens as soon as it lost the $12 support and this pre-market level. Crack. Good for 50 cents. Then we get a little pullback to the VWAP. People are waiting to short here. And we start seeing an ABCD, reverse ABCD form. Watch what happens when it loses that, right? Is the second leg down. And then we start pulling back for a third leg. Watch this, right? So higher highs, higher lows on the 2. As soon as it loses this 5-minute low and this level here is when you get the third leg down. When you see what happens when the volume really pours in here, right? Here comes the volume, fight, big fight, crack. So, right? Bulls lost. Boom, look at the size. That's the biggest bar of the day. So that's the third leg. And then we start catching support, I believe, at $11 whole number. Runs out of gas, heads back to the VWAP. I believe Trader N from our mentorship program took this trade. All right, TTD, huge gap up. This opening candle is a little too big for my liking. As you can see, it did push up above the pre-market high, came back down. Now, what did I see in this trade? Well, one of our members actually took this trade, Trader R, one of our mentees here. He took this trade, caught a huge move. This is a flag, right? As soon as it broke up here, right, you can see it got bought back up pretty strong down here. It broke up, coincided with the 5-minute orb at the same time, and then off we went. And now this thing's starting to trend, right? Each time it's pulled back, it's pulling back to the moving averages. Watch it get bought back up. People are not letting this thing come down. A little momentary fake out here. Nothing to be scared of, as it's still closed above the MA, and we're continuing to make higher highs, higher lows on the 5-minute chart, right? Everything about this is very screaming bullish. So if you're long this trade, like Trader R was, he was in no rush to partial. I believe he caught over $12 a share on his last partial, which is massive, right? So this thing ended up being so strong all day. A couple pullbacks here and there, but it closed the day at around $200. So that's number one on our plays of the week. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below.